out of this session, and it is very informative to you, and you take some good learnings out of it as well. Before we start, I would like to introduce the panelists who will be talking and sharing their experiences with us. We have Hansen Thamba Prem, who is the manager for Animals in Disasters campaign for World Animal Protection in India. He works on the issue of helping animals during the times of disasters and providing relief to them, and also coordinates a lot with the international team as well. Of course, I'll ask Hansen to talk more shortly. We also have Tanvi Rastogi, who is handling the Animals in Communities campaign with World Animal Protection in India. And she works very very closely on dogs and stray animals, and making, and the Better Life for Dogs campaign is actually her campaign, and she's actually working very strongly on that campaign, and helping working with government, working with municipal corporations. So she is doing some fantastic work for us as well. We also have our two colleagues from our international team, which is Melania and Rosanna. They will of course be helping us, Rosangela, and they will of course be helping us with any technical queries that you have, and they will be very open, welcome to answer all of your queries as well. So with that in mind, I would request Hansen to maybe talk a little bit about the campaign. Before we do that, I would just want to make a quick introduction about what World Animal Protection is doing. For those of you who don't know about the organization, I just want to maybe, before we start our proceedings for this webinar, I just want to make a quick introduction about World Animal Protection. So of course, some of you might know, but if you don't, I'll just tell you, World Animal Protection is a global organization which has 14 offices across the globe. And I mean, we have been working for over 55 years in protecting animals from needless suffering. I would request also everybody to just put their mics on silent, on mute, please. Yes, so for 55 years, they've been protecting animals from needless suffering, and our work is on the vision of, and we work with the main vision and the main aim and the main motto of moving the world to protect animals. That is the main motto with which we work with. Yes, so now I would actually request my country director, Mr. Gajendra Sharma, to talk a little bit more about the work that we are doing, and also talk about the fact that what World Animal Protection is doing in India, and a little bit more about the need of this webinar and why is it so important. Over to Gajendra, please.
Thank you, Sahil. Hello, everyone. So as Sahil mentioned, that World Animal Protection is an international organization working in more than 50 countries around the world through our different programs and campaign to move the world to protect animals. As we all know, these are challenging times for all of us, for our families and our friends. But at the same time, we should not forget the animals who are also a very important part of our ecosystem. Especially pets, you know, it's like a family member. And in this time of you know, uncertainty, it is really important that people should not believe in the rumors. And because of that, what is happening, we can see in the news and on social media, there are a lot of rumors going around, which is creating a lot of fear among people towards their pets and dogs and other animals. And as a result, people are abandoning their dogs and their pets. They are not treating these stray dogs and other stray animals the way they used to treat them, which is actually not acceptable and very cruel and entirely unnecessary, because currently so far there are no such evidence confirming that pets and stray animals are a source of COVID-19. So in this particular webinar, we would like to talk about some of the things which will help you to understand that how you can take care of your pets and also other stray animals, dogs and cats around you in this during this lockdown period. And we really request all of you and also request you to share within your network and your circle that there is nothing to worry about this the the getting the infection from the stray dogs or stray animals of COVID-19 infection. But yes, certainly we need to follow the government advisory while stepping out of the home. And it is not necessary that you need to go far away from your house to help animals. If there are dogs or cats around your house, and if we can help them, that would be really a great help for these animals. Along with that, the team will talk about more, in terms of what you can do to keep yourself and your pets safe at home during this lockdown period, while there is a limitation in terms of going out and taking dogs around the neighborhood. So I hope you will find this webinar informative and useful, which will help all of us to help animals not only during the lockdown but in near future. And World Animal Protection is here to provide any additional information needed in future. So you can visit our website for any additional information and help us to move the world to protect animals, particularly stray dogs and your own pets. Thank you so much, and over to Saib.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Gajendra, and thank you for those words of inspiration and, of course, telling us what amazing work World Animal Protection is doing and what the need of the hour is and what the participants can do and learn from this session that we are organizing. Now, I would like to invite Hansen to provide information as to what can we do to help animals during this crisis, and talk a little bit more about how animals can survive. Like, this is a disaster, and how animals can survive, and how we can help animals during this time of crisis and during this or during disasters as well. So I request Hansen to share a small presentation with us. And before he starts, I would also request everyone to please note that at the bottom of your screens, there will be a chat window over there. So if you have any query for any of the speakers, you can, of course, write the name of the speaker and ask your question. We, of course, will be having at least 15 minutes at the end of the session for a long or a Q&A session. So if you want, you can hold on to your question till the end of the session, or if you want, you can put it in the chat along with the name of the speaker who you would want to answer your questions. Over to Hansen.
Yes, thank you, Sahil. Very good afternoon to all. On behalf of the team, we welcome each one of you for this webinar. And I'm thankful to our Gajendra, our country director, for organizing this webinar, and World Animal Protection team for supporting this cause of in this situation of how we deal with animals. So I actually work with the disaster management team, and we actually see how we can address the issues to protect animals in different disasters. But yeah, having said that, we are living right now in the midst of a big disaster, which is itself a biological disaster. And we are really living in a time that's really uncertain. We don't have solutions with us at the moment. We have a lot of rumors going around, a lot of fake news that's taking the rounds. So as a request to all, please be cautious in whatever information you get from different sources, and ensure that you verify the facts, verify that you get the information from the genuine sources, so that you can take informed decisions. So with that, I would move on to start the presentation. So please give a second. I'll just pull out the presentation and share my screen. Right. Yeah, so the presentation today is, we'll be talking more about uh, caring for pets and helping stray animals during COVID-19. So this presentation will be shared. Uh, I'll be sharing a part of this presentation, and after me, Tanvi will be, my colleague Tanvi will be sharing the presentation on how to manage helping stray animals in these situations. So we'll be restricting our talk to how we will ensure the welfare of these pets and stray animals, and what role can we play as citizens and people who care for animals to take care of this uh, uh, animals which are really suffering more than actually we do in this situation. So moving on. So as shared by our country director, we'll be talking about the issues that are faced by the pets and stray animals, how we can take care of these pets in this situation, things you can do to help animals during COVID-19, the precautions you should take, and how to respond to negative behavior and the actions of people, how to help animals while respecting government guidelines during this lockdown, and how to be a leader and bring behavioral change in your society and community towards strays. So these are the points that we'll be touching upon in today's webinar. So first, moving on to the topic on taking care of your pet. So I'll be sharing some of the challenges and potential solutions. In fact, there are a lot of challenges for us in our normal life itself, and it's not the same that we are experiencing, and we have to adapt ourselves to this situation, which is something that we need to accept and see how we can manage our day-to-day requirements. At the same time, this situation poses a lot of challenges to the pets and stray animals. And so, but also we need to see what are the solutions that we can identify, opportunities that we can make use in seeing how we can take care of these animals in such a situation. So some of the issues faced by pets during this COVID-19 are, one of the major issues is the limited space. As this is a situation where we have restricted movement, we are restricted to our home environment, we are not able to move around freely. So this is certainly affecting the pets, like as it affects us also. And second point is different temperament. You see, different animals or pets that you keep have different temperaments, and they have several issues when there is a change in their environment. And this change of environment can affect their temperament. So we need to be aware of this fact and act accordingly in meeting their requirement and taking care of them. So, and also, like you can see that in many places, animals are being seen as threats, which is because of the fake news and rumors that's going around. This is actually creating an adverse effect, negative effect, and affecting and stigmatizing animals, which should not be the case, and which we should not encourage. And we need to also communicate the right information from the right sources. And another major issue is abandonment of animals, which is really very unfortunate to hear some of the incidents that's happening around in the country and in different places. Please, through this medium, we would like to inform you all, please take care of your animals, don't abandon them. Please inform your neighbors, friends, relatives, whoever's owning a pet. Inform them that it's our responsibility as citizens to take care of these pets and stray animals and not to abandon them. And there's anxiety in this situation because we are not sure of what's going to happen. What does this situation bring to us? But we need to be calm and not panic. You need to maintain go through the information that you receive from the genuine sources like World Health Organization, OIE, CDC, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and see that you follow all the guidelines that are given out by the government. because it's for your safety and the safety of your pets and animals that these decisions are being taken. So moving on to the next topic of, we've seen some of the challenges faced by pets. So in this slide, we're talking about the challenges faced by pet owners during this situation. So like the situation, there is a strained relationship that you can notice that usually the pet owners are experiencing who owns pets at their home, which is really very not easy to handle. We certainly understand that. But at the same time, we also need to understand that this is a situation which is not normal and we need to adapt, but we should not panic. Please remain calm and follow all the recommendations and guidelines to ensure the safety of yourself and your pet. So here some of the issues faced by pet owners are like maintaining frequent hygiene because of various reasons. That might be you are facing challenges within your environment to manage your day-to-day routine in your house, or there are more responsibilities than before that you have. But please ensure that you address this by maintaining frequent hygiene of yourself and your pets. Time for your pet. Actually, this is very important because when your pet is in a situation where they have restricted space and restricted movement and they need a lot of physical activity, it is our responsibility to give them the required time, to engage them in different activities, to physically involve them in all the activities that you do, so that you spend some time and you maintain their like physical activity and day-to-day routine, so that they don't get they don't exhibit abnormal behaviors. And third is resolving friction within family and outside. This is something that is happening because of the situation which is not normal, where every family or every household are experiencing this because we are restricted within our home limits under this lockdown situation. But having said that, please consider this as the opportunity to spend time with your family, spend quality time with your pets, and see this, don't you, but you can see it as an opportunity to have spend quality time with your family members. So managing resources, you might not have enough resources to manage your pets at home. You might be having a schedule that you need to take the animals for a walk, which you are not able to do. You might be having a schedule that you have to take your pets somewhere outside for a play, and this lockdown is affecting that. But whatever limited facilities that you have within your house or nearby your house, as per whatever is available, please try to make use of these resources and facilities by engaging them and keeping them physically fit. And yeah, there is changed lifestyle which is affecting the pet owners and the pets as well. And finally, the preparedness for after lockdown situation. So as the situation has changed in this lockdown period, there will be a time when this we need to take actions to adapt to this particular situation. And also we need to prepare if this is going to continue for a long time. So what are the other measures that you need to plan for your pet? So these are some challenges that are faced both by the pets and the pet owners, which we need to think about. So moving on to ways to take care of your pet. Yeah, so some of the advice that we would like to share with you all is, you need to wash your hands after petting, walking, feeding your pets, or touching their belongings, which is very, very important. Because yeah, we all love pets, we all love animals, but we need to take care of basic hygiene of both ourselves, the people who are taking care of the pets, and the pets themselves. So ensure a house is clean and disinfect surfaces frequently, which is very important. And clean paws of your pets frequently. So this is also very important, like as we have to wash ourselves and maintain personal hygiene, the same goes to our pets. But in this situation, please be careful that you don't use harsh chemicals or soaps. You need to use pet safe soaps or detergents that doesn't harm their skin or is not harmful to them. So then do not kiss your pets or community animals, which is very important, because like we carry infections in our mouth, the same infections are there in the mouths of pets which can transmit. So please try to maintain this by not kissing your pets, and try to maintain the personal hygiene by regularly washing your hands and after petting them. Do not put mask on your pets, as it can interfere with their breathing and can cause stress. Yeah. So especially there are certain breeds of animals that with flat faces which have difficulty in breathing in normal times itself. And this, by putting on mask, you might be thinking that, yeah, we all need to put masks, so why don't we put a mask on our pets? No, please don't do that to your pets, because this can harm and interfere with their breathing. So yeah, you just need to take care of them and give them the attention they need, play with them, maintain their physical activity, and not worry about too much by putting on a mask or relating them more to how it will impact people. Limit contact with your pet if you are sick with COVID-19. Yes, we please kindly advise whoever is sick with COVID-19, please try to maintain your contact. There can be situations where you are very much attached to your pet animals. Try to see if someone can help you in this situation, either your close family member, the member, relative, whoever has a good relationship with the pet that you own. Please ensure that you make them responsible in this situation, in this time, to take care of your pet, and try to maintain some contact with your pets and animals in this situation. Do not give any medicine without consulting your vet. Yeah. So there are situations and news where people say that, do I need to go give a special vaccine? Do I need to give a coronavirus vaccine? Is there something there in the market that has come out for pets? So you need not worry too much on this, because there can be many reasons why your pet can get sick. And you need not always think that it gets sick only because of coronavirus, because we are in this situation. So please consult with your veterinarian and take an informed decision by discussing with him on what are the symptoms that your pet is exhibiting, or what are the problems your pets are facing, and then you can take care of your pet. But don't rush and take hurried decisions on your pet. Pet need physical activity, replace the walk with play. Yeah, this most of the people who own pets have a regular routine by taking them for a walk, either in the morning or in the evening or whenever you have time. But this has been affected because in this lockdown situation, we have restricted movement and we are not able to move out of our homes. But yeah, please try to find some innovative ways of how you can engage with your pet within your home premises, within your nearby. If you have a veranda, if you have a balcony, if you have a small space close to your house where you can go, please try to use that resources, whatever you have. And yeah, it's very important to maintain that physical activity for your pets. So try to maintain that as much as possible. Responsibly discard your dogs or pets waste. Yeah, this is another important point, because it is actually part of a good practice that we need to follow. Please ensure that you don't like leave the waste of your dog wherever you take the dog for a walk. Please ensure that it's discarded responsibly. Use games where you do not need to be present. Yeah, try to find, as I said before, try to find innovative ways of how you can engage with your pet. So another point is resolving frictions and conflicts. Yeah. So how can we resolve these frictions and conflicts? Yeah, there can be many ways, but some of the points that we could think about is within the family and in the society. Within the family, I know that we are all now restricted within the home environment, whereas in normal situation, it would not be the case. For some it might be, but for most it might not be the case. So it's important that you take time to talk with your family members of how you manage both yourself and your pet and your family members activities within your family. Choose the best time in a day when they are most positive, like how you can spend more quality time and how you can meet their needs, so you can uh, talk about wonderful memories which they have with pet. And yeah, to see when it's appropriate to discuss the points related to your pet and related to the needs that you have for your family. Yeah, try to avoid heated arguments and always try to see positive conversations to encourage how you can uh, help each other in within your family, and this will help your pets as well. And same goes with the neighbors and society. Like there might be neighbors who might oppose the people who are owning pets, who will because there are fake news that's getting stigmatizing animals, which is not the case, as shared several times also, and we repeatedly share that sorry, uh, please don't stigmatize animals with this situation. And you need to, in fact, you need to see it as an opportunity, as a stress reliever. Like pets can relieve the stress, bring calmness, bring positivity, and also like encourage uh, uh, this. Uh, like-minded people who can help you in the society. Talk to your neighbors. You can have meetings, and if required, you can discuss with the local authorities, either the police officials or the district officials or the local government officials who are present there, who could reach out to help you. And yeah, these are some of the things that we could think of managing within your family and within the society. So with that, I think we will have time for question and answers at the end, and we can take up questions and clarify the any important burning issues you have. And I would hand over the session after this to Tanvi to take over, and she will continue the rest of the slides. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Hanson, for such insightful information and for telling us what we need to do and what we shouldn't do with our pets, and some very, very good learnings that you have provided to all of us. So thank you for that. I would now request Tanvi to talk about stray animals a little bit more and tell us as to how we can help stray animals. I already see in the chat people are asking about helping stray animals and how we can feed them, how we can give them treatment. So I would again request anybody else who also have any queries or questions around stray animals or their pets, they can keep posting on the chat. They can also, under the participants category, they can see that there's an option of raising a hand. So they can also raise a hand, and we can also see that if we can ask them to speak their question at the end of the Q&A session as well. So now I would request, excuse me, now I would request Tanvi to please talk about stray animals and how we can help them. Over to you, Tanvi.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sahil. Thank you, Hanson, for providing information on how to help pets. And it's really good to see that people are so much interested to know what they can do to help strays. So let me start with the few things. First of all, when it comes to strays, we usually know that they are not exactly exclusive responsibility of any authority or people. So they are like responsibility of no one, but also everyone. So everybody needs to, put some effort to basically help them, because this COVID crisis is crisis for everyone, and we need to come together to basically address any challenges we are facing. So let me begin with the next slide. So what are the things, first of all, stray needs and what we can provide? As we all know that local stalls are already stopped. They are closed down, restaurants are stopped, so there are very limited leftover foods available, and waste is available for strays. So they need food. What we can do is to provide food. Then also, because this is also a summer month in India, and I think in other areas around the world, also very much important that they need water, regular water. So what we can do is put a container outside our houses and refill them in regular intervals and every few hours. And also, because one person is not enough, to resolve this issue and to help strays, we need other people to do the same. So what we can do is to start with talking to our known people, like talking to our friends, family, colleagues, neighbors. And it's always good that when we start about helping strays, we start with a normal casual greetings and conversation, and then we can also start asking them, okay, what else they are doing, is there anything they are thinking of doing to help animals. It's like, even if they're interested, well and good. If they are not interested or they haven't put any thoughts on this issue, then you can, what you can say and do to make them understand, like, okay, in this situation, with very small effort, they can make a lot of difference. Then of course, also feeding and helping is important, but protecting them is also very much important, as there are so many rumors going on. Sometimes people read half newses and others assume the rest of the information. So miscommunication, misinterpretation and half news is also very much dangerous for animals, because they can't basically raise their voices for themselves. So it's, of course, the responsibility lies on us. So protection is also very much important, that if you see anyone is harming animals, so what you can do. So we will be talking more about how to protect animals in next slides. You can also do that by associating yourself with a local NGO. There must be, or if you don't find any NGO, then definitely aware of support groups, neighbor support groups, or informal groups who are actually doing something to help animals. You can try to get a membership, or just simple informal association would also be very useful in these times. Also, there are municipal bodies who are actively working, and their representatives usually visit your colony, society regularly. You can try to talk to them, like what kind of a help they need, or their issues they would like to address. And during that time, you can also share your problems, and then they will also be giving you advice and provide you help. It's like it's a mutual thing. Those who are actually working on these issues, as well as you doing something. So it's like everybody is doing their part to help animals. So most importantly, come together to basically help animals. So in the next slide, just a moment. Well, things we can do, and now we will talk about how we can do, because this time is totally different. We haven't lived ever in these kinds of crises. So everybody is trying to manage the situation themselves. So what are the things? Feeding is important, but precautions is also as much important as feeding, because you can't put yourself at risk while helping. So it's important, like all the precautions. Use gloves when you provide food, sanitize after you come back to your house. Ensuring your safety as well as helping animals, both things are equally important at this time. Also, if you are feeling that you are sick, or you are already aware that you are sick of corona, please don't go out. Try to ask other people to do the same. Like, if, because you must be living with someone, with a family member or a flatmate, if you are living in metropolitan city, if you are a migrant person, ask them to feed on your behalf. You don't need to go out. Make sure that you are maintaining a safe distance. Helping is important, and there are many ways you can help, directly and indirectly. So when you are sick, making sure you are providing help indirectly. Respecting lockdown is very much important, considering if we like to bring a change, we need to understand creating chaos will not solve the problem. Passion is good, but if it is not navigated properly, definitely it can bring chaos and inconvenience and harm for others. So making sure lockdowns, for example, if you know your society is completely sealed, so don't try to just go out. When there is a delivery person coming, you can ask, you can share that food which you would like to give to stray animals, give that uh, basically food to the delivery person, and that person can put that food outside your society or few meters away from society. So in this way, you are not basically infringing any guidelines. You are adhering to the guidelines as well as helping strays. So definitely, what is the mutual ground to help is very much important. Then of course, there are in some areas, lockdown is 9 to 6. There are sometimes in evening and in morning. In mornings, you can still go out few meters away from your house and feed. So if you think like restrictions are high and you need to mindful of the sentiments of others and neighbors as well, because everybody is trying to protect themselves. There is nothing wrong in that. How you respect their feelings as well as helping strays. Make sure that in the mornings you can put food outside and even in late evenings. Then of course, there is another way. One person is not enough. How about form a group? Use latest technology, use WhatsApp, use Facebook. There are so many groups. And of course, we are using Zoom. Definitely, there are people who are very much equipped of handling technology. How about finding another platform? Form a group and then start a conversation. And then they can also spread this message and start helping in their areas. You can organize virtual meetings if there are issues, and then you can exchange ideas how to resolve the problems everybody is facing. And if it's possible, then of course, why not approach a vet and include that vet in the group? And that vet, if it's available, then can answer your queries and clarify rumors in a real-time basis. And then you can also share this knowledge with people around you. Then we will talk about the next slide. Just a moment. If you want to help stray animals beyond your area, because there is a lockdown position, so definitely there are limitations when it comes to mobility. Without going beyond your area, you can still be helpful to animals. What you can do is definitely, we are social people. We have friends all around cities as well as beyond city limits. Find those friends, have a group, and then talk to them like what they can do to help strays in their areas. So you don't need to go out always to help. There are other methods to use and you have to be very creative in that. And let's just say we are very much, as far I understand, we are creative and imaginative and quite resourceful nowadays. Use existing resources, form a group in different areas. And due to that, after creating these groups, you can basically provide help indirectly to multiple areas. But of course, after forming the group, you make sure how to make sure that their morale is not down, because sometimes they will be having problems with neighbors. They must be having resource constraints. Sometimes because there are mental stress due to lockdown and other issues, there are fears. Talking about these issues will always helpful, and try to understand and then come up with solutions. Virtual meetings make it more engaging. Like, how about if everybody donate one chapati, one bread a day? Create a bread day for everyone. So type, today is a bread day. How about distributing bread, one single bread, everyone? Then you can choose another one. You can have a biscuit day. You can have, just try to make it more engaging, more something which can resonate with the people, and something which is easily accessible for the people to do. Because now we are, of course, facilities are limited. We are facing limitations in ways which we haven't anticipated before. So simple efforts. We don't need to be very extravagant or very much resourceful. Simple, small step would be very much useful nowadays as well. And when we create a group, we have to very much careful how we use that group. Sometimes, suppose I can give you an example, like WhatsApp group. We usually have groups, and we start sending messages to make sure that a group is not losing its objective. Share relevant information. Forwarding message which is not related to the objective of the group will definitely dilute the significance of that group. How about talking to the, if you have created an animal support group, share information which is related to animals, helping animals, food and all that, not any other beyond information. Because if you start talking or people start sharing random things, then the main key thing will lose the priority. How to make sure that people, suppose if someone, and you can also stop people from sharing uh, irrelevant information. If someone is saying like simple good morning message or forwarding any videos, sometimes fun videos are good, but sometimes not. You can just say, okay, hi, thank you for sharing. How about what you have done to help animals today? Just ask, try to basically bring the topic again in the group, so that not everybody, if someone is distracting or someone is distracted, you make sure that they stick to the main agenda of or objective of that group. So because there are so many distractions, so many technologies, so many things we would like to talk, but we should always remember why a group is created, why we are here, just to ensure that we use time and resources carefully. So yeah. Now helping is important, but protecting is also. Considering the rumors, considering the fear, doubts, which everybody has nowadays. So there might be a chance when people, due to fear, start pushing away stray dogs from their society. And while doing that, they might hurt them. Because once, if we are basically doing something out of fear, we end up doing horrible things. And it's applicable to everyone. So how to make sure when you see that someone is hurting a stray animal, pushing them outside their society, you can basically try to talk to them. First, you can let them know cruelty won't solve anything. Provide relevant information, clear their doubts, reasonably, politely, but firmly. There might be a chance that they will listen to you. There might be a chance they won't listen to you. If you know any authority who can speak on your behalf, like a veterinarian or a municipal body, maybe your voice won't have that much weightage, but their voice will definitely have much more weightage. In case a person or a group is still not listening to you or still hurting animals, then you can let them know it's totally against the laws and a legal action can be taken against them. It's like, firstly, try to be very reasonable, politely try to make them understand that whatever they are doing is unreasonable. Try to bring authorities informally. And if these two things won't work, then definitely you can say that it is illegal. And sometimes when people say, okay, it's illegal, they stop doing that. And in case, even if they are not stopping, then definitely you can take actions against them, file a police complaint. But it should be the last resort, not the first one. Then of course, when you see an injured dog, which we are seeing in our chat room, that there are many cases when people see an injured dog. If you have resources and if you have some knowledge, provide first aid. In case you lack the information, just contact the veterinarian over phone, give brief information, whatever information you have about the dog, how that dog is injured, how long it has been since that dog is injured. There's a possibility that they can provide you the very easy first aid option. If you lack the resources, you can share what kind of a resources or material and supplies you have, and will it be possible to use that supplies? Will these supplies are enough to provide, to basically make sure that providing the first aid? It's possible that these could be enough. There's a possibility these won't be enough. Then definitely you can contact a local veterinarian hospital. There are, in every area you will find local vet hospitals. Just Google it online, you will find the contact number. then you can share the information that animal is gravely injured. And then there might be ambulance available, or you can ask them like what are the other processes to carry that animal to the hospital. And there might be a case when there are relocation done by your society out of fear or out of misinformation, and they are pushing the stray dogs outside their society. If you see relocation, talk to the society chairperson, and if they are not hearing, then definitely contact municipal body, which I have already said earlier. Try to have an informal conversation, even bringing authorities with informally. If you see it's not working, then definitely formal procedures should be applicable. And if you see municipal bodies are doing something like this, relocation, then definitely try to talk to the superior authorities, because sometimes superior authorities are superior officers, senior officials are unaware what subordinates are doing. And sometimes it happens. So make them aware. If they are not, sometimes they listen and sometimes it is not working, then definitely you can write to Animal Welfare Board of India. If you see that there is a threat to life, stray, and if there is a culling case, then definitely file a complaint, police complaint, and then also write to municipal authorities. They have to address it. There is no other option of that. So helping strays were covered previously. Now we will more talk about the rumors, the information, or sometimes we read half news. Sometimes news is full and we just read few lines and we make up our minds. There are things we should know carefully. These are some important facts, which is basically taken from World Health Organization, which is the primary international agency who is handling this COVID crisis. So COVID-19 is a spread human to human transmission. There is no evidence that animals can transmit the disease to human. Of course, we are hearing cases like some animals are affected. Being affected and transmission is two different things. We should not mix these things. So animal can be affected. There are cases when this infection is being transmitted from animals to animals. However, it is yet to be basically confirmed and there are research going on, but there is no case as of now where animals are basically, especially pets, are transmitting the disease to humans. So we need to understand that possibilities are many, but facts are limited. We need to address any situation with the facts at hand at this time rather than imagining things. This, of course, in animals, we found many coronaviruses, but this COVID-19 is totally different and it's a new virus which is found in humans. So it's not the old one, it's something new, and that's why there are so many things going on. That's why so many people and researchers are going on. It's something new, and that's where we have limited information. However, the limited information we have, it is sufficient for now, and basically it is being spread not from animals to human. We have to address that. So this is thank you so much. This is from my side, and if you have any questions, then definitely we are here to answer. And please.
Yes, thank you very much, Tanvi, for such an informative session. It is really very important that you have highlighted that this is not the time to cater to rumors and cater to fear. We of course have been reading and seeing some reports where dogs and stray animals have been beaten and maybe killed, and people are actually abandoning pets. So it is really important for us to understand that currently there is no evidence that there is any transmission of the COVID-19 from pets and dogs and stray animals. So it's really important that people understand that. And thank you for also highlighting what people can do in situations when they're at home and if their society is not welcoming pets or is not welcoming stray animals, and how best they can feed them or take care of them. So thank you so much for that session, and thank you, Hansen, again for the session earlier. I would now be requesting everyone who has been listening to ask their questions. They can, of course, keep post their questions on the chat. I will unmute everybody, and I would request that if people can speak one at a time, ask their question if they want to ask it to any of the particular speakers, either Hansen or Tanvi, or if in general they want to ask a question, and we can try and answer it in the best way possible. I think we already have a question from Ragini, where she's saying that I have one more concern. My pet dog at times have cow dung when he goes out, no matter how good food is given to him. So if any of the speakers want to answer that one, and after that one, we can take questions from everyone. So I'm just unmuting all participants. I would request all participants so yeah, before I unmute everyone, I request everyone to please keep their mute button on silent, or keep their mute button on. And if they want to have a question, they can just unmute themselves and ask, because when I unmute everybody, I see a lot of disturbance. So please, I would request everyone to keep their mute button on, and if they have a question, they can unmute themselves. So anybody has a question? Does anybody have a question here? Or does anybody want to ask a question to answers Ragini's question as well? So she's asked that question.
I can answer that, although perhaps I don't have a specific answer for that. Some dogs, it doesn't matter how much they are fed, will always be interested in other types of food. So I think that this is one of those cases where it's just part of the habit of the animal. It doesn't matter if you feed the dog more, that will always be part of the habit. So I think if you don't want that to happen, perhaps you just need to set a barrier so that that animal does not go to those places that has cow dungs. That would be my take on it.
Thank you very much for that.
Millennia, recently, as during this lockdown period, the main challenge is the cows and the buffaloes have been traveling at all the places in the colony because they don't have anywhere to go. So in the colony where there are no house and there are open grounds, they stay there only. And when I'm taking him for a walk, if I look left, he'll just disappear in the right and snoop up into a cow dung. Even this has happened before. I spoke to my vet, and they said that he might have worm issues, so he gave him the deworming tablets. But again, this problem is coming up. He's been doing that frequently in spite. If you could understand, there are certain like bowls or the places for water kept for the cows to drink. So recently he has been just going there to drink water, which was not used to happen until last year.
Yes, it's true that some animals that eat dung have mineral deficiencies. And so it's good that your vet could take a look at that, because he may need supplementation maybe every day. I think that animals are behaving differently because the situation is so different worldwide. I mean, I think we've seen animal sightings in the weirdest places ever, not just India, right? And so I think that as we as humans start getting used to all of these changes and our behavior changes. Sorry, I think I was on mute. Did anybody hear anything?
Yeah, please go on, Millennia, please.
So what how much did you hear?
You're talking about the vets and how they can help. Yeah.
Okay, so what I was saying is that I think that, yeah, so if an animal has a mineral deficiency, they can start eating poop. That's normal. So it's good that that animal has supplementation. But other than that, I think that this This pandemic has changed the entire world. We've seen animal sightings, not just in India, but in many other places. And so our behavior as humans has changed as well. And animal behavior would change as well due to this pandemic. So I think that seeing strange behavior in dogs is not just coming up for any reason. It's coming up for specific reasons, because now they have access to things that they didn't have access before. Now they are living in a society that is different from what they used to know. So their behavior might be different. As long as they're not doing something that is super damaging to their health or perhaps to other people, I would say, I mean, the pandemic is eventually going to end, right? And so things are going to go somewhat back to normal.
Yes, thank you, Melania, for that input, and I hope it answers the query from Ragini. I want to raise a question that has been asked by Somesh Saxena. He's asking that in the current situation, there is the most difficult situation for animals. So what are the things the government has to do, and for them to for then it will be necessary. So I think what he's asking is that what steps can the government take in helping animals and helping strays and maybe pet animals as well. So I think to first start off, Somesh, I would just like to tell you that we also have, we saw and we heard that the Prime Minister of India, when he made an address to the nation during the lockdown announcement, he said that we should be taking care of the animals around us. And he, of course, was saying that it is our responsibility as citizens that we take care of each other and also take care of all the animals around us. But I would then ask maybe Tanvi or either Hansen or anybody of the panelists who want to answer this question in a more detailed manner. Thank you.
Hi, so I can try to answer this question. When it comes to what government can do, so we also need to understand what are the limitations they are facing when trying to help. So there are policies they are making, there are notices they are issuing to make people understand the basically facts and what they can do. The situation is currently such, grave, and even it is hard to anticipate and plan right away what can be done. When it comes to asking government, of course we can say like they should have a plan in basically helping. They are helping and providing food to people, so definitely they can have a plan to at least help few animals daily, of course. And also it will be easier to approach government if we also share that what we are doing as an individual, as a responsible citizen. So asking government is a very good idea, and it's very much important that animals remain in their radar. So in terms of reaching out to municipal bodies and basically Department of Animal Husbandry and health ministries and also district collectors and basically administrators to have some basically funds to feed animals, but also to basically get their attention. It is important to make them understand and make them see like animals are important for everybody. So people are actually care about animals, and when you all as a person, as a citizen, you show that you are helping, and that's why you are asking others and government also to help, then your voice has much more weightage and it is being listened to so many people. So it's like what you can do to help animals, as well as writing letter to a particular authority in your area and ask them to provide food or have basically fund or mechanism to support animals.
Thank you, Tanvi, for that.
I hope it's yeah.
Yeah, so thank you for that, Tanvi. And if any other question is from anybody, as we have said, that you can please raise your hand. I think if or you can just answer a question, please post that question in the chat as well. If anybody wants to maybe speak, I can then I've unmuted everybody. If anybody wants to ask a question, they can please go ahead and ask before we close this session, because we are out of time now. Just a minute for if anybody wants to ask a question. No? All right. So thank you. I think this is the end of our webinar. I have also in the chat put out the information because we will be posting this webinar online as well. And I've put out the information of our social media channels and our email ID as well. So I would request everybody to just see the chat. You can either follow us on our social media channels for more information. We'll of course be posting our session online on our social media channels as well, and we'll also try and send out a mail to people as well who have attended. So we'll of course see the feasibility of all those things. But I would like to first now thank all the panelists. Thank you to Hansen and Tanvi for a very detailed presentation and informing everybody. Thank you to Gajendra for the informative session at the beginning, and thank you to Melania and Rosangela for also answering the queries and also helping us out in answering the queries from people and providing some detailed information as to how people can help their pets and help stray animals as well. At the end of the session, I would just want to say to everyone that, of course, these are very difficult times. But again, please remember, please don't succumb to rumors. Please don't succumb to false information. We again stress on the fact that currently there is no evidence that pets and stray animals can transfer the COVID-19 virus. So please, as much as you can do in your area and your surroundings, please stay safe. Please take all the precautions and help out stray animals, and please keep taking care of your pets as well. So with that, I would just like to thank everybody, and please take care and please stay safe. And thank you for joining us. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye.